Okay. Good morning. Good evening. Holy moly, huh? This should be fun. This should be a good one. How is everybody doing this morning? Boy, I'm blind. I cannot see. All right, let's blow this up. Let's blow up this chat so I can read it. Hey, Prorogan, round 2. Yep, Steven says, I want to see Tampa apologize for getting Ekblad suspended. It only hurt him. Oh, boy. Not a real it's nice to have that kind of depth, right? Icy, Orlando, Colin, how we doing? Good morning. Yes, excellent night last night. Hey, the Toad, how you doing, bud? I like that avatar. So, they're not going to fire John Cooper, right? That's stupid stuff. That's just stupid Twitter rumors, right? That wouldn't happen. Hey, Kenneth, how you doing, bud? It's a good day. Is it going to be a good day for the Leafs? Is it going to be a good day for the Leafs? Colin says, yeah, I saw that. They gave the puck to Marchand, not E2D2. Interesting, I thought. But it makes sense. Yeah, the Kachuk Bowl is coming. It might. I don't know. I don't think Toronto's going to blow the series. I just don't. Occam says, hey, Jaws, I had Cats in 7. Bracket still looks good in the East unless the Leafs completely leave. Pretty much. Yep. Hey, thank you, Henderson. Thank you, bud. Thank you, buddy. Says, well done, Panthers. Sucks for Al, but you won it fair and square. Good luck in round 2. Appreciate that, bud. Yeah, I mean, Florida is just right now, it's just a machine. We're just a machine right now. It's just feels good. I'm not going to get ahead of ourselves. Scientist says Luciano had a better night in one game than Cooch had all series. Oh my God. Oh my God. I didn't think about it that way. That is, post that to Twitter, Scientist. See how your day goes. Yeah, Marshy's driving that third line, Craig. Unbelievable. We've got to re-sign him. Now, the question I have is if we re-sign him for like half of what Boston offered, like are Bruins fans going to are they going to survive that? Rolanda says we just make look everyone bad. Hard to find a combo that will top us. Cooper's probably still their only shot. Yeah, I can't imagine they'd get rid of Coop. Yeah, so third line, man. It's just this. So I mean, we already knew Lundell could score. He had 18 goals his first season. I keep saying that. He just focuses on defense so much, and Marchand just couldn't have been more of a perfect fit. Henderson says Cooch was the total passenger again, getting a bit sick of him doing this in the playoff series every year. When you guys were winning, you know, Stamkos was the leader, you know. So, you know, he might have depleted as a player, and Gensel put up the points to replace him, but it's hard to win without, you know, Stamkos was a big part of those teams. Hey, Simon, how you doing, bud? Who do I want to see, Toronto or Ottawa? I don't know. If Toronto wins, they're going to get a bunch of confidence and feel good about themselves. Either team at this point is going to feel good about winning. I would obviously rather play Ullmark than Stolars. But Ottawa's probably would be a more physical series because of the Kachuk on Chuck angle. I hope they go to quadruple overtime in Game 7 and wear themselves out. That's what I think. Two very, very different matchups. I have confidence in Florida either way because we can beat you one way or another. Occam says Barkov looked much better last night than games 3 and 4. Yeah, and Chucky could use the rest. Chucky's looked better each game. His skating is better. Still not great in small spaces. He can get a stride going, Kachuk, but when he's trying to play defense in those short spaces, it's not great with the stopping and starting. But you're not hurting us right now. Dietrich says, I believe people are seriously underestimating the Leafs. One win tonight and they get home ice, legit threat. I mean, I'm not saying they're not a threat. It's just there's look at what we just did to Tampa. And Tampa's a team that knows how to win. So there a lot goes into these series in terms of experience. And yeah, Toronto has some really good players and all of that. No doubt. But now we're going to get all this rest again. We're healthy. Could Toronto win some games? Yeah, but Toronto beating us 4 times, I'm gonna have a hard time. I'm gonna have a hard time feeling that one. Be honest. Kenneth says a machine with one broken part, but the part was never hooked up anyway, just an extra piece. And we have a replacement part in Jones anyway, Kenneth. I mean, they're the same player. It's incredible to watch. On the good days and the bad days, they're the same player. Colin says, who had 2 D-men getting game-winning goals and E2 4-point night on their bingo card? Nobody. I did not know that, Vincent. I hadn't heard that, man. I slept through the game last night. Braga says, with the cap increase and Yandel's salary expiring, can we afford Marshy and Bennett? Oh, sure. But can we afford Marshy, Bennett, and Ekblad? If Ekblad walks, they can pay Marchand. But we got to keep Bennett, right? Yeah, and what Dietrich is saying, don't forget Ekblad. Somebody would have to take, like everybody's going to have to take a little bit. Like Bennett, if you took 7, man, we could give Bennett 7, and you could probably give Ekblad and Marchand 4. But then you could also move a guy. You could move Rodriguez and clear up some space if that's the way you want it to go. I don't think that they would do that. But because we need a backup goalie too, you got to sign Sam Iskevich. There's some other considerations there. Toad says, I prefer to play the Leafs just because Ottawa's more physical. Just with the whole Tkachuk versus Tkachuk thing, they raised that level of physicality to insane levels. Hey, Simon, I'm actually going to try to go fishing today. When I'm done here, I got to make a couple of stops, some errands. I'm going to try to record the members podcast today. Because it's going to be really hot the next couple of days. It's going to be like 85, 86 out of nowhere. So I want to try to get out there today. Kyle's exhausted from the gym this morning, that's for sure. Yeah, I saw that, Lax. Yeah, about Cooper giving us props in the post game. Occam stinks losing. Sergachev really hurt. Let's not pretend like Vasilevsky's prime Vasilevsky. Okay? 4 years ago, there's no way in hell that Bennett shot goes in on Vasilevsky. The one that Bennett made it 4-3. There's no way that shot goes in. I hear what you're saying, Henderson, saying Leafs plan or reverting to type, and it shows big time. Brewery has made changes and tweaks all year long, but the core group just can't get past it. They're holding the sticks tight, man. That's for sure. Well, Simon, I know we're doing. Yeah, and Charles asking, yeah, we're definitely doing a Maple Leafs tonight. We're not stopping just because the Panthers are done. We're covering everything that we possibly can. So I know that we're covering the Leafs game tonight, and then I would like to stay up and cover the rest of the games. Now, my partner needs to make sure that he's not exhausted so that he doesn't end up half asleep at the end of those games. So I would like to be able to do that. But at the very least, we're covering Toronto. And then we'll see what the scores of the other games are when that one's over. Kachuk says Bolts in 8. Bolvar says, today is the day to Vegas and the Stars win their series. The other two are going 7. I didn't write the rules. The universe just doesn't like the Leafs or the Oilers. Silva says, so we give Ekblad 4x4, Bennett 6x7, and Marshy a 4x5. I don't know if we'll need 4. I mean, I don't know if he'll need 4 years. He might only want 2. Ekblad 4x4 and Bennett. My concern, Silva, I agree with you, but I think if Bennett was going to take 7, he already would have. Like, we had to have already offered him 7, right? That's my concern. Really starting to concern me there. Yeah, Marchand feels like he's been on the team for years. Yep. Scientist. Yeah, Bennett would be a long-term investment, no doubt. However, if Bennett wants to walk and go get $9 million somewhere and there's nothing we can do about it, paying Marchand to stay for a couple of years would definitely help make up for that. So I'm not saying I want to take Marchand over Bennett, but it's starting to feel like Bennett's, what are we offering him? Like, I'm surprised it's not gotten done yet. Henderson says it's hard when the cup tax comes due. You want players to stay, and it's great when they make room, but it's hard to blame a player for going and getting his bag. Right. Craig says, keep Erod, move Boquist to the Islanders. Yeah, I mean, it's $1.50. That we're probably going to need that $1.50 for the backup goalie. Don't forget, Craig, we don't have one. Literally. Vincent says Jones looks very good. I mean, he's a smart player, unlike some D I could mention. Look at his positioning on the first for Hagee goal. Ekblad is who? Kachuk says we got to find some diamonds in the rough again. I'd love for Marchand to stay. The top 9. We could bring back the whole top 9. But the thing is, the reason why I say maybe they would move Rodriguez for cap space is because at some point you're just going to plant Samoskevich on that second line and leave him there. So, but who knows? Lot to consider. Dietrich, yeah, Kachuk can skate straight lines, but stopping and starting when he's playing defense is a little bit difficult. I'm scrolling down to the bottom because I'm way behind. Hey, True. Elvis has been playing well. Yep. Michael says Bennett is just waiting till the offseason to sign like Rhino did last year, just trying to stay in the moment to win. Michael, I would love it if that was true. I would love it. I'm fine with that. Shafasi says keep Ekblad on the bench. Right. And Kachuk saying the same thing. Reinhart waited for July 1st and still signed, right? 305 says, does it not concern me that Marchand is pretty old? Not if he's playing third line minutes. Look at him out there. He's got plenty left in the tank, right? I mean, he's played a full season for the most part. He's got plenty in the tank. And if he's playing on our team, he can take third line minutes. Those extra 4 or 5 minutes a night. Remember in Boston they were still forcing him to play top 6 minutes. So, I mean, he's still got enough speed. He looks fine for me for another couple of years. I don't think he's that old. Like, he's not like Ovechkin old. I mean, what is he, 35? 36? He's 36. He's 36. He's going to be 37 next week. So, no, I feel good. I mean, if he wanted 2 years, I'd do that. I would do that. He doesn't look like his play is dropping off that much from where he was. He looks just fine. Bulwer says Bennett is going to pull a Marchand, but with no trade, he's going to go to Ottawa and say at his press conference, I love playing the Leafs, and I know my captain is tough because he beat the crap out of me. That's funny. Yeah, he's Bobby old. Yeah, exactly, scientist. He's good to go. Kenneth says, Ekblad must not like playing on the road every playoff game. Yeah, man. The dude just needs to stay on the ice for 5 minutes, but it's okay. It's all right. Pente says, Jaws, Bennett will resign. I believe that's correct. I'll hope so. Wild, hey, buddy. Come on, man. Wow, there's nobody but Vegas fans that want Vegas to win. Like, even the people that bet for Vegas want Minnesota to win. Come on, man. You guys got to do it. Same thing with the Kings. For the Kings. Come on. Kachuckin says Ekblad 3x3. Hey, Adonis, I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that, my friend. Boy, the chat's moving fast. I'm trying to keep up as much as I can. Sparky says, I think Forsberg could be an option for us, a backup goalie next year. That's not a bad name. It's not a bad name. Real says, I keep seeing Leafs fans hoping they get Bennett. I would be surprised. Soylent Green says, Ecky's days in Sunrise are numbers. My dog is a better D-man than Ekblad. Put him on some skates. Let's go. Lax, Winter Classics came out yet. $285 for upper level before service fees. That's tough. Pente, yeah, Marshy probably enjoys playing on the third line. Right. Well, you guys know Paul from the locker room. We have another podcast coming out when we're done here. And that is one of the first things he said to me. He's a Bruins fan. And he said that, he felt like Boston was trying to force him to play top 6 minutes and maybe he'd do better on the third line. And perfect. Vincent, yeah. Maurice going to put Ekblad with Forsing again. Is what it is. Fulmer says, it's true. We made our bed in the first season. We've been sleeping in it ever since. We are the league's joking at everyone's Batman and Canadian teams that are just robbing. Well, for me, it's personal, Bolvar. It's personal for me, right? I mean, you take Marchessault, you take Smith, and everybody told me to stop bitching and complaining about it because Vegas having Marchessault and Smith would have no effect on the Panthers. That's what they said. How about that? Pente, yeah, you want to see Minnesota beating the Knights. Yep. 305 says Ekblad can sit the rest of the run. Sticky hockey card says Florida will be making moves this offseason to prepare for the Brady Tkachuk acquisition by utilizing his no trade clause that comes into play next year, especially if after he gets a taste of the playoffs. I don't know. I think he's going to stick around with them for another couple of years. Florida's just not in a position to do it because everybody we would move to clear that space has their own no-move clause. Verhage. Hey, bunch of jerks. Yeah, I got to do a series preview, Canes and Caps. To be honest with you, I think Carolina's going to win that series. I think Carolina's going to win that series. I think we might get a rematch of Florida-Carolina from a couple years ago. If Anderson can stay healthy for 5 minutes, good grief. Shafas, yeah, Jones looks comfortable with Forsling now, right? It's a lot calmer. It's a lot calmer. Hey, Simon. Well, I picked Panthers, I picked the Canes, I picked Washington, and I picked Toronto. So far, so good. No, excuse me. I didn't pick. That's wrong. I didn't pick Washington. I picked Montreal. Although I'm not sure. I know I picked Montreal here. I don't know if in my bracket I kept to that. I honestly don't remember. Either way, I picked the Florida-Washington Eastern Conference final, and I don't remember what I picked for the West. But yeah, I think I picked Canadiens to beat Washington. Sticky says there's a reason Florida traded Spencer, mainly that cap space. Well, yeah, we needed to clear the space, but we gave it to Jones right off the bat. So Jones is like, we already re-signed Ekblad. Henderson says, oddly enough, a lot of what Panther fans don't like about Ekblad was true about Sergachev. He's a good power play captain, but his defensive positioning is questionable. Hey, Mr. Vids, I agree with Strafossi. I think the Leafs are going to get it done tonight, but I'll be rooting for Game 7. Yeah, Brian, that's what I had wanted. That's what I thought Maurice was going to do when he came back from the 20 games, just leave Jones, Forsling, Mikula, Kulikov, Ekblad, Schmidt. I at least thought he might do that for one game, but instead he put him out there and Ekblad was -4. Hey, Dana. She says it's the opposite with me with Vegas. I actually love to see Vegas because it just brings good memories. It's the first time I ever attended a Stanley Cup final and all the hoopla. I can understand that. I can understand that. They just pissed me off with the whole Marchessault and Smith thing. Made for good content, though. Excuse me. What the hell is going on out here? Oh, jeez. My neighbor's got the chainsaw out. I was wondering what the hell was going on out there. So, all right. Let me scroll down here. Trey says Bolts at 9. It could happen. It could definitely happen. Kachuggin says Carolina can't get swept in the conference final if they don't make it, though. I think Caps Canes will go 7. That's going to be a brutal series. Yeah, the goalie's health, right. How did Logan Thompson come back from that? Stem cells? Or was he just exaggerating things? Anderson. You think Caps in 6 games, Strafossi? Toad says same thing, right? That's what Vincent, I corrected myself. I picked the Canadiens. I misspoke. I corrected myself. Huh? I couldn't remember if I had not done it. I couldn't remember if I hedged my bets, but I probably did. Jake says they won the last game when Ekblad was in. Yeah, they won the last game, but not the first game. That's what I'm saying. I thought the first game they would have eased Ekblad back in. And it would, even in hindsight, it made sense because after the bad game he had, Maurice even said, well, we kind of expected that a little bit because it was his first game back. It's like, well, why did you put him back with all his responsibilities if you expected him to not have a good game? Come on, man. He could have eased them. I still feel, but no, it doesn't matter. We won the series. But it doesn't matter who the player is. If you feel like you know he's going to struggle, then ease him back into the games. I know, Pente. Anderson is always broken, right? Yeah, I think Caps Canes is going to be tight. It's the Canes. Even when they get swept, it takes 4 overtimes. Someone says if you re-sign Marshy, then which winger gets traded? There's not enough spots for Samo, Erod, Boquist, Greer. They would it would have to be Erod. It would have to be Erod because of the money that he makes. I don't think they'll do it. I don't think they're going to put him on the 4th line. We also got Sordiff, who's ready to come up. So, I mean, it's a good problem to have, right? You want to re-sign Marchand, but do you want to do it at the expense of Rodriguez? I don't know. Can we just run 4 lines of like really good 4 lines? Just keep everybody, right? Yeah, exactly, scientist. The longer the Leafs series goes, the better for the Cats. Agreed. Hey, Dana. Pente says, I would trade Erod if he has the highest cap hit. I like him, but he makes $4 million. That's a bit much. Well, yeah, I mean, it's nice to have that guy that you can plug and play wherever. I guess Boquist is kind of like a discount Rodriguez, right? That would maybe explain why. I mean, if you forward think, that could maybe explain why he gave Boquist that contract. Is that he kind of felt like maybe he'd move Rodriguez in the summer, and Rodriguez is like discount, or Boquist is like discount Rodriguez. Oh, he thought, yeah, no, I don't think we have any wasps in here today. But yeah, the dude's out there with his chainsaw. Yeah, Logan Thompson must have a bionic bone. Sticky says, so I think Cooper stays with Tampa after next season when his contract ends, or where's his landing spot? I wonder if he'll get burnt out and take a break. Not like permanently retire. Every once in a while, these coaches, they take a year or two off and then they come back, or even just a year off. I don't think Tampa's going to like fire him. I saw some people thinking that he might get moved, let go, but where, that could be anywhere. I mean, it just depends on where everybody signs this year, right? I feel like if he was going to let that contract expire, he strikes me as a guy that would want to take a year off, do some TV, go fishing, and then come back fresh. Habs in 10, Kachuckin. You heard Cooper might go to Utah next year. Interesting. Ha! Hey, thank you, Metal. So Toad wants to know who I think I have coming out of the West. Winner of Stars, Avalanche. Winner of Stars, Avalanche. I think Dallas. They look pretty good right now. They look pretty deep. But I still think that series is going to go 7. Brian, yeah, I get what you're saying about Verhaeghe, but he's got a no move clause. So he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. And my hope is by the end of these playoffs, Verhaeghe has so many overtime goals that we're all like, oh my God, how could I ever think about trading Verhaeghe? Eyes. Yeah. I hear one. I think, it's weird. I think that I might have wasps in the crawl space because this is upstairs. So there's, the crawl space up above me. Because I sit here and I hear bzzz, but there's nothing flying around the room. So I think I might have to get up there and take a look, because there's definitely something buzzing around, but there's nothing in the room. And it sounds like it's coming from right up above me. Hey, get in. Damn it. I have to call somebody to look in there. We had hornets build a wall in the nest in the bedroom a few years ago because they eat the wood on the house. Jeez, scrolling all the way down to the bottom, right? Hold on, Jake. What are you saying, Jake? Hold on. Let me read the whole thing. Jake is like, hold on. Let me get them all. Says that I stay up all night. I sound tired. I am tired. I recorded a podcast right before this, so my voice is just tired, Jake, with all the streaming and everything. Yeah, my voice is tired. I'm okay. Talking about Ekblad says he's not the one who was on the ice for those goals, and you said they weren't his. Right, I said it wasn't his fault. No, I even said at the end. Yeah, there's got to be something in the ceiling up above me. It's driving me crazy. Come on, Jake. You know I just bitch about Ekblad just to make him. Oh, there he is. I see. There's one B that's over there. All right. Huh? Get out of the bedroom, you dummy. I don't want to have to whack you. I think we're going to have Jaws versus the B round 2. Hold on a second. Hold on. I got my spray right here. Now, look. We had a discussion about this. We had a discussion about this. You're done. Where'd you go? Come here, you little bastard. No, you're done. No. You got to stay outside of the house. We're not doing this. Outside the house. You're not allowed in the house. We've had this discussion at least a dozen times. You and your little kids. Out. Stay out. All right. Okay. It's hot, Simon. It's hot. Glad Hagel round 2. I got him. Damn it. I see what's happening because I have a window unit in that window there. Hey, thank you, eyes. He says, that's not a wasp, Jaws. It's the listening bug Bill Zito sent to spy on me. All right. So back to what I was saying with Jake here real quick. I get it, man. I try not to bitch about him too much. But what was the last thing you said? I even said it weren't his fault, but I still want to blame him. Well, I don't even blame. I'm not blaming Ekblad specifically. Honestly, I'm blaming Maurice. And I even said that in the beginning of that recap. I said I put this one on Maurice. Maurice said post-game when they asked him about Ekblad's game, like what we expected. We knew he even talked about how when Kulikov came back, he wasn't great. And then the second game, he was. So for me, it's like, hey, dumbass, if you know he's not going to play well, and you just want, why not just ease him into the lineup, take Belinskas out, put Ekblad in, and let him get comfortable? I think that's a pretty normal, but Maurice beating his chest. No, we're gonna put him right back in. There's no question. He's going right back to all of his responsibilities. And the pair that night was ass. Both of them. Forsling's the one that lost the puck at the blue line. But I think Forsling gets he gets a little shaky when Ekblad's not going right. Forsling tends to follow suit. So that said, if they want to keep Ekblad out of the lineup, he's good depth. I'm kidding. Brian, no, Mackey has been a healthy scratch both games. He's been a healthy scratch both games. Now, I don't know what Maurice is going to do with him. Are we just going to completely keep him off the ice the rest of the playoffs? I don't know. Drew says, every time Jaws and I text each other bitching about Eggplant, he ends up doing something good, scoring. And that's true. That's very true. Yeah, that is very true. I don't want to stop bitching about him. We won a cup with me bitching about him. Hey, Habs, how you doing? You did, man. You did. You came really, really close to at least drawing that series out a little bit longer. But you guys are going to be scary good. You guys are going to be scary good when you get it all, when you get it, a little bit bigger on the back end. Can Montembeault repeat that same performance that he's had? Because he's looked good. MJ says, Matthew says, Ekblad had his best game in 8 years. Yeah, the next game, right? What did he get? He was back for 3 games, right? No, 2, right? He looked terrible, and then he had the great game, right? And then he got suspended immediately. Yeah. Yeah. You can't write that script. The dude comes back as -4, and then in the next game, he scores 2 goals, 1 gets called back, and then he levels a dude and gets suspended for 2 games. Like, you couldn't write that script. Oh, I'm tired. I'm tired. I woke up late this morning. I've been rushing. I forgot to eat breakfast before I did the podcast with Paul. My voice is on fire. I'm good. We're good. But I'm glad the Panthers are out or done. You know what I'm saying. Not playing for a few days. Because that way, not sure how many streams we're going to have left. We're going to be up tonight, though. Then we'll see Friday. Trey says, I heard he has a documentary called Pumping Hagel. Drew says, Forsen gets the shakes because he has to try to play both defensive sides when Ekblad's with him. Hey, Spaceman. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, that was a bad night. There's no way around it. That was just a bad night all the way around. Hey, nobody wants Ekblad to do well more than I do. Right? If only he played as well as the level of bitching that I do about him would equal. Right? Hey, Spaceman. I slept pretty good. I slept too late. I woke up at like 6 and I thought I'd just turn over for 10 minutes. And the next thing you know, it was 8:30. Donna texted me wondering if I'm dead on the side of the road, if I got kidnapped by pissed off Lightning fans or something. Yeah, Habs. You see what St. Louis does in the offseason. Good coach. They had a good year. It's going to be interesting to see how they can flesh out the rest of the roster because they need some size. You know, they need some depth. So I have a feeling that they need to be targeted, right? Don't just throw stuff up against the wall. Mr. Vid says, just remember, what can go wrong will go wrong with Toronto. I know. Trey says, Ekman was asked about his second suspension. He said, I'll be back. Arnold Ekblad. I like that. Silva says, I don't know about you guys, but never felt bad for Hagel. You give exactly what you get. Gergensons, though, he didn't deserve that. Made me lose some respect for Mikkola. I'll give Mikkola a pass. I'll give Mikkola a pass because it's not like he walks around. Like, I don't think he's ever even done remotely anything close to anything like that. I will give Mikkola a brain fart pass, honestly, just because of the kind of player he's been over the years that I've seen. I mean, anybody can – I don't know what the hell he was thinking, but a couple people said it. He thought that – a couple people said it looked like he thought Gergensons was going to try to be getting up, and, you know, it was a bad look. It was bad, but I'll cut him some slack for now. Hold on a second. The Ekblad Blue Chew sponsorship when they didn't respond to me, amazingly. I can't imagine why. Bovar says, as a Saints fan, when I first got into hockey for the first few games, I watched every hit. And I'd say Bounty Gate. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, they didn't contact me back, Mr. Viz, right? True. Yeah, I saw one of the memes. It was a school walkout. This injustice shall not stand. Scrolling back up. Make sure I didn't miss anything here. Communist says should consider playing Samuel just to give some experience. Doesn't mean you have to play every game, just so that he gets used to being in the playoffs. I'm hopeful that Maurice will reset and go back to the original lineup that we had game 1. But Samuel back with Bennett, but Rodriguez back on the 4th. I hope that's what he does, but I don't know because there's nowhere else for Samoskevich to play unless somebody gets dinged, really, and even then it's not a guarantee. If somebody in the top 9 gets hurt, then you have room for Samoskevich. But I mean, and I'm not even arguing for or against it. I don't know what Maurice saw. We had just shut them out. And, I'm sure there's intricacies of the details of things that I don't notice and we don't notice as fans. We don't see the whole sheet of ice. So we don't know what's going on, on the bench, away from the ice, away from the puck and everything like that. But I would hate for that kid to have had the year he had and just get nixed after 2 games when we didn't lose, and he had an assist, especially if we play Toronto. I'd like to see him get back on the ice fresh, rested, and see if he can improve upon whatever it was that Maurice said he didn't like, because it wasn't like Maurice was specific about it. So we can just guess, but yeah, Jaws was unable to get a rise out of Blue Chew. I like that. Emperor King, hey, buddy, do I think the Senators had momentum from last night, from last game? Well, Paul Maurice says momentum doesn't exist. So there's that. I think if Ottawa wins game 6, they win game 7. I think Toronto needs to finish this tonight. Toronto has yet one more opportunity, really one more opportunity to squash all the narratives. Kind of like the Dolphins not being able to win in the cold. They just get chance after chance after chance after chance. And everybody knows they're going to get killed. So I don't know. Trey. Drew says, unless you've played, you might not understand, but a lot of stuff just happens because you're moving so fast as far as the Mikula hit. Right. Hey, David. He's asking what I think about tonight's games. So which are the 3? Which are the 3? Hold on, I got to put my glasses on. What do we got tonight? I know Toronto. Is it just 3 tonight? No, it's 4. It's 4 games tonight. Good Lord. So I think Toronto finishes. I think the Wild force game 7. I think Avalanche force game 7. And please, for the love of God, the Kings need to force game 7. That's what I hope happens. I have a bad feeling Edmonton's going to win, though. Oh, Simon, that's a good question. That's a question for the offseason. My brain is not in that mode right now. He's asking about other team, the other teams who missed the playoffs and everything. Coaching carousel is going to be crazy right now. But yeah, that's my brain will be on that during the offseason for sure. Oh, says Blue Chew sends this target couples channels. Interesting. That makes sense. Reals, I honestly think the Canes will beat the Caps. Oh, it's getting warm in here. That's wrong, this air conditioner. Cruz says, I think Maurice saw Mackey not deal with the physical nature of this series all too well. Seems like he'll roll with Greer when he wants the physical lineup and may insert Mackey when we need some more speed. Right. I mean, yeah, he's a young player. I get it. I do get it. Kendra says, in my bracket, I have Florida beating Toronto unless someone misplaces Bob's passport. That's good, yeah. But I think Samuel would be this year's Lomberg. I don't think he'll get back in on the 4th line, Scientist. He's not a 4th line guy. That's the thing. He's not like Rodriguez or Boquist that you move all up and down the lineup. He's just not a 4th line guy. I don't even know why Maurice did that. But it's a good problem to have. You hate to see the kid get all those goals, play all that well, and then just get yanked. But can't say I'm surprised by it happening. Colin says, are the Kings done for tonight? They might be. I really don't want that to happen, but Not a lot of confidence. True thinks he was trolling, but Trey agrees with him. If momentum existed, we would have beat Edmonton in 4 or lost in 7, but definitely not win in 7. I understand that. Yeah, animals versus the bees. Yeah. It's weird because I thought it was up above me, but it was over by. There's a window unit over there. I need to reseal it. It's been in there since I moved into the house. I put it in, but the seal is a little bit dry rot. I see where there's a little gap there where if a bee is crawling around, he might be able to get in. And that's on the west side of the house, so it gets a lot of hot sun. So in the afternoon, I know there's a lot of stuff that flies around. Real says Kings are screwed. I think the Blues force Game 7. Game 6 is home for them, and they've been good there this series. Yeah. No, I haven't checked the bracket standings. I was going to wait until after the first round. I was going to wait until the first round was done. Bulwer says, what would be worse, Vegas beating Florida again in the final or Toronto winning the cup? Vegas. No, excuse me. I misspoke. It's the opposite. Toronto winning the cup would be worse. Toronto winning the cup would be far worse because that would mean they beat the Panthers. And my God, I cannot deal with a summer of that. I can't deal with a summer of that. Hey, Frank says, to me, Tkachuk is still hurt. He still doesn't look right out there. And, you're not wrong. He's not really, he's kind of a defensive liability in space. Like if there's a board battle or if he's trying to, kill penalty, I don't think he's not killing penalties, but if he's in a position where, would be similar to killing a penalty where you're in short space, the stopping and starting is just not there. Silva says Maurice trusted Samo enough to throw him out there on the second line for 2 games during the playoffs. That shows growth in his mindset as a coach. That's what matters. Both Paul and Samo knew it. Sanchez, remember when you were worried Samo was benched? Oh, I trust Maurice. I still don't I don't like Samo being benched, but we can't roll 5 lines because it's against the rules, right? But I get it. You got Rodriguez sitting there on the 4th line. Samoskevich was going to have to be perfect. Vincent says Maurice is a rat for scratching Samoskevich. There were some nights that's what it was, man. That's for sure. Fake news says Kings are cooked, can't win on the road. Yeah. Hey, Cooch, how you doing, bud? He says, Jaws, I just want to say good game. I think it's time for Lightning to get younger, and Vasilevsky hasn't looked the same like lately either. No. The Bennett goal. The Bennett goal is the perfect example of prime Vasilevsky versus now. There's that shot gets stopped. When Vass was in his prime and Tampa was winning cups, no way that shot from Bennett goes in. Vass gets the angle, makes the save, and it's just completely different. Just that little bit. I don't know what's changed. I mean, I know he had the back surgery, but he had a great year this year. But I mean, nice like last, he just wasn't fantastic last night. He's still making some great saves, but then some pucks are getting past him that he just doesn't look like he's moving the same way as before. He looks a little bit more stationary in some moments where wasn't used to that. Craig says Chucky combo of not 100% healthy and 2 months behind in game shape. Yeah. Oh, very cool, David. Very cool. He's got the Blue Angels. Very cool. Interesting. Silva says, with Samo is also a rookie. I think Paul knew if a cheap shot came his way, it could be lights out for his career. And they were taking, I'm not saying they were taking cheap shots, but I get what you're saying, right? There was some shots getting thrown around. I'm very curious to see if he gives them another chance, right? Because the way that Maurice, I talked about this, the way that Maurice described it was he talked about Lundell in his first year in the playoffs, and he got scratched for a couple of games. Like, okay, so does that mean we're going to take Greer back off, move Rodriguez back down, give Sam Miskevich a chance back up on 2? You know they're not going to change 3. There's no way they're going to change the third line. So that's not going to happen. I just don't see him, Sam Miskevich, as a fourth-line player. I would really like to see him get an opportunity to have, okay, you played, you got taken out, here's the things you learned, here's another chance. I'd really like to see that. David says, yeah, Bennett has a great shot, but Father Time is undefeated, right? Vincent, that was a great shot, but the puck tracking, though, looks weird for Vasilevsky. Yeah, it just doesn't look, it's just not the same guy. It's just, I don't know. It's like, maybe it's my imagination because I didn't watch him play every night like a Tampa fan would, but it just seems like twisting and turning. It seems like he wants to stay, he seems just a little bit less athletic, just a little bit. Kenneth says Tampa's playoff success ended the second Tavares scored the overtime winner. There you go. Emperor King says either the Avalanche or Stars can do damage to the Oilers. Yeah, I was hopeful LA could pull it off, man. Too loud, true. Communist says if it's Toronto, play Sam Miskevich for sure. If it's Ottawa, then think about it. I agree. Kazuna says, so who would I say is a better matchup for us, Leafs or Ottawa? Man, probably Ottawa. Probably Ottawa. I'm not sitting here saying I want Ottawa, but I'd rather play Olmark than Stolars. Toronto's got more talent, right? I have concerns about the physicality between Florida and Ottawa, but that was my concern in round 1 too. I think there's a better chance of it being a shorter series against Ottawa than it would against Toronto. David says Bennett just got out of the box. Feels like he owes Team 1 since Bolts tied it. Right. There was a little extra oomph on that shot. No doubt. No doubt. Craig, yeah, that's the word. Vasi seems stiff. Yeah. Yeah, that's the word. Yeah, Ovi and Crosby are putting up one hell of a fight against Father Time. That's for sure. That's for sure. Scientists, I think the way Maurice described it is he just felt like, he kind of felt like Bennett was having to babysit, Kachuk being a little bit hurt, and Sam Miskevich not quite being ready for playoff action. So I think he just put Rodriguez there to settle things down so that Bennett had somebody he knew he could trust on that line. I mean, no matter what happens in these playoffs, my assumption would be Sam Miskevich starts next year in that spot, and hopefully at that point won't be in a position where it gets taken away. David says we win the next series in 6 no matter who the opponent. All right. I like that. Vincent says, what is the metric of both Quist's effectiveness on the ice exactly? Why is he there over Gadjo or Mackey? I think Maurice just likes hearing me say he hasn't scored a goal since January 25th. Honestly, I feel like that's what it is. I don't know. I mean, he must do something, Vincent, because Zito went all ahead and gave him $1.50 for 2 years in the middle of the season. There must be something that he does, like you're saying, some metric when he's on the ice, because it's not goal scoring. That's for sure. Fake news says, yeah, Vasily was a Vezina father. No, I know. He had a great year. He had a great season, no doubt. But in this series, he just didn't look, Hellebuck is that kind of goalie too. I'm not saying Vasilevsky's Hellebuck, but it's few years now in a row. I mean, there's no, if you look at the stats, I was looking at this, and then I got to get ready to go here soon. His playoff performances have just not been great lately. So in the 3 years they were winning, his save percentage in the playoffs was .927, .937, .922. And goals against under 2, two of those years, and then 2.5 the last year. And then the last 3 years, .875, .897, and .872. And goals against damn near 3.5, 3.25. And I know Tampa's not the same team, but that's a big drop in the playoffs. It really is. It's a shame, but maybe he'll pull a Bob and get better as aged, right? Silva says, what if Boquist is a locker room guy? We showed a lot more pushback this year when things were going wrong than last year. I mean, it could be. It could be. All right, everybody, I got to roll. Voice is gone. In about 20 minutes to a half hour, the next Puck Blockers episode will be up. That'll be on the Puck Blockers channel. That's the new channel that I got with my buddy Paul from the locker room. That was a halfway decent show. And we will see you tonight live for the inevitable. We'll just call it the inevitable. Yeah. I don't know what Toronto's going to do, but either way, it makes for must-watch TV. All right, everybody. Appreciate all the support. Thank you all for the super chats. And I shall see you tonight.